our worthy Dr. Joseph Emmanuel, Director Academics CBSE amongst us now. He is the name behind the major academic initiations and reforms in CBSE. Sir, I, Jaswinder Kaur Sidhu, Principal DAV Public School, DRS Nagar, Ludhiana, and Secretary Ludhiana Swadhyaya School Complex, welcome you in this today's webinar on Rationale for Reduction of Topics and Post-COVID School Education. This initiative of having you here in Ludhiana Swadhyaya School Complex webinar is all the credit goes to the Director of LSSC, Mr. D.P. Guleria, Principal, BCM Senior Secondary School, Chandigarh Road, Ludhiana. I request our worthy Director to first extend a formal welcome to the Chief Guest of the day.
Thank you, Jaswinder ma'am. Good evening, one and all. It's my privilege and a pleasure to extend a hearty welcome to Dr. Joseph Emmanuel, Director Academic CBSE, the speaker for today's session. We are delighted to have in attendance many distinguished principals across Ludhiana, Swadhyaya, which gives me a reminder how important today's session is. I extend a warm welcome to all. We are all having the presence of other important school functionaries. I welcome them all. I am sure that many of us have good memories of our fruitful association with Dr. Joseph when he served his tenure as the regional officer. I remember how my association with him in Panchkula left indelible imprints on me. It was always an experience of learning something new, even when I was in his company for a short period. Whether it was at the sports technical meeting or his visit at schools, I always learned something new from him. Once again, it is an opportune time for us that we will be listening to Dr. Joseph. He spearheaded many innovations and initiatives, especially reduction in syllabus. And there could not have been a better and more competent person to address the issue of rational in reduction in syllabus and provide first-hand information. Dr. Joseph is a highly profiled and widely prominent personality. He is an extremely engaged person with CBSE, HRD ministry, and myriad concerns, and yet so unassuming and easily accessible. Whenever I called him, he was busy at one or other meeting, but he always quickly reverted through WhatsApp message. Even today afternoon, his calendar was already blocked for CBSE Teachers Award ceremony. It is an honor for us that he readily acceded to my request, accepted my invitation, and took out time from his heavy schedule to address us. Here, I want to express my deep appreciation for the persevering effort of CBSE. In the present setting of COVID during school closure, how CBSE has opened windows of new opportunities for unaffected education, experiential learning, and digital support platforms. Not only this, it is also supporting and supplementing the efforts of teachers by organizing free webinars and training to build their competencies. Dr. Joseph has also been very active on this front and has headed many interactive webinars and online sessions for schools. Thank you, sir. Thank you once again. And further, I would like to share that he is again with school leaders today for parenting their needs during and post-school closure. I am confident that his insights will strengthen and support the mechanisms relating to rationale for reduction in syllabus, and we will use this knowledge for reducing syllabus in a rational way in lower classes as well. I, on my own behalf and on behalf of all participants, extend my gratitude to Dr. Joseph for sparing his time generously for this session. And before I hand over to Dr. Paramjit Kaur, Advisor LSSC, once again, I extend warm welcome to Dr. Joseph and all participants to today's virtual session. Thank you one and all. Over to Dr. Paramjit Kaur. Ma'am, are you there?
Yes, thank you so much, Guleria sir. We have Dr. Paramjit Kaur with us now. I just request your technical person to unmute, ma'am. Hello, Dr. Paramjit. Mr. Guleria, please get it checked.
Ma'am, they are on job and very soon she will join. Actually, she has to click at the button. So perhaps means, I don't know.
But I don't find her name amongst the participants now.
Otherwise, what we can do, we can start it, then later on, we can get it, ma'am. We will listen to her in between.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
We
sir,
are
right,
very
sir.
sorry, sir, that we are
Because,
keeping you waiting.
yeah, because technical glitches are there, but all
Yes.
others are waiting, so we can go ahead. Yeah.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, as already shared by Mr. Guleria, sir, I would like to apprise you that in today's webinar, we have school leaders, not only from District Ludhiana, but we have principals, heads of the schools, and teachers from as far as Kapurthala, Jalandhar, and places like Fagwada, Khanna, and Sarhand, to name a few. Being the regional officer at CBSE Panchkula, you are already aware of all these places, sir, and people are very happy to have you amongst us. And not taking more of your time, sir, now I humbly request you to please share your valuable thoughts on the topic of the day, the rationale for reduction of topics and post-COVID school education. The stage is all yours, sir.
Thank you so much. Good evening to one and all. Mr. Guleria, Madam Jaswinder Kaur, Madam Paramjit Kaur, and all the eminent principals, teachers, managers, and dear friends attending this webinar on this platform. My greetings and best wishes to all of you on this occasion of Teachers' Day. Though it was on 5th September, the Shikshak Parv is still going on, and we are still in the mood of celebrating Shikshak Parv. So my best wishes are with you. And on this occasion, I must congratulate you for whatever you are doing in this challenging pandemic time.
Thank you.
Our teachers are our heroes. The COVID heroes are our teachers. In the front line, doctors, nurses, police personnel, other healthcare professionals, they are all there. But at the same time, to take care of our young children, youngsters, the teacher's role is very important, and they have not, left any situation, any stone unturned to accept the challenge and to get into action. So congratulations to each one of you to come up to the expectation of the time and accepting the challenge of the hour and giving good service to our student community. Uh, Almost 5 months back in March, the lockdown has started. Till then, all the schools are closed. No child is going to class, attending classes. No one is going to school. Maybe 21st of September onwards, a partial upliftment of lockdown is going to happen. There also, the classrooms are not open for students. A kind of advisory consultative mechanism has been opened for students. Students can come and take guidance of teachers wherever online facilities are not available. This kind of a mechanism is very essential. But whatever is the situation, the role played by our teachers, the school leaders, the principals, the managers, it's really, really commendable. And we appreciate all your effort and your commitment and your courage and dedication and commitment to come up to the expectations of the student community at this difficult time. Due to COVID, the whole world is suffering. India is not an exception. India is also facing a lot of challenges, but almost 150 crore school-going children are out of the school because of the COVID. It's a big challenge. It's a challenge to the humanity, and with the help of technology, that we have seen a positive side of the technology now, and the ability of the humanity to meet challenges by upskilling the credentials and the abilities by using available technology with them. So this is a great lesson for each one of us. The resilience, the resilience shown by the teachers, the school leaders, even the parents, and the society and community as a whole. It is really laudable, commendable, and we must learn a lot of lessons from this collective spirit and collective energy. So we have thrown into a very challenging scenario. We have no option other than to accept this challenge, accept this pandemic challenge. So everyone has shown the courage to accept the challenge. So difficulties are there. There are psychological pressure on both parents, teachers, as well as the students. So everyone should ready to appreciate the viewpoints of others and should realize the difficulty of others and try to help each one to come out from this difficult scenario. There are children who must be facing financial difficulties. There are teachers who must be facing a lot of challenges. So wherever it is possible, from the leader's side or from the colleague side, to the extent possible, extend your helping hand, extend your healing hand to your colleagues and your students, and take them out from their difficult situation. Mental counseling is very, very essential. Somewhere financial support is essential. There are schools not able to pay salary to the teachers. There are parents who are not able to pay fees to the school. There are different kind of challenges we are facing at this situation. So each one should understand the difficulty of the other person is very, very important to overcome this pandemic crisis. So everyone should appreciate others' difficulty and try to accommodate and adjust the difficulties expressed by the other person. On the side of the teachers, there are huge challenges are before them, to upskill themselves, to reskill themselves, to learn new things. There are youngsters, for them, it is very easy to adopt and adapt the technology, but there are veterans, teachers above the age of 50, 55, for them, it's a big challenge, but still, I'm very happy to see that, all those teachers, there are some teachers who are taking help of their children at home and, setting up the online platform and giving classes to the students. So that is the level of commitment our teachers have shown at this moment. So everyone has, reason to uh, reason to celebrate, a reason to feel happy. And uh, let us continue this momentum of teaching and learning. We don't know how long this pandemic situation will continue, but till the time a proper vaccination is invented and it is reached to every nook and corner of this country and the world, this pandemic will continue. Its effect will continue even after partial lifting of lockdown for the schools. Class 9 to 12 can be partially called to the school for giving guidance, but how far it is practicable, that only the time will tell. Again, for calling those children to the school, again the permission of the local governments are essential. It is the guidelines of the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Above this, there will be guidelines of the state government. Then again, under state government, there will be guidelines of the municipalities, municipal corporations, panchayats, and all. So, depending upon the situation, ground at the ground level, the schools will be able to call the students. Till then, you have to continue with this present mechanism of online teaching or the distant way of teaching and learning. Immediately, there is no solution. You have to continue with it. So, post-COVID scenario will be a scenario wherein you will be adopting a blended approach, of teaching and learning. So, wherever uh, online mode is effectively implemented, it is always better to continue with the online mode of teaching and learning. You have to consult your parents, you have to consult your teachers before calling the students to the school. Again, calling the students and continuing classes at a different schedule is also a challenge. The teachers' resource is very, very limited. So, conducting parallelly online classes and face-to-face classes will be a challenge for every school. So, these are all various problems you have to address even after partial lifting and full lifting of lockdown. So, let us see what are the best ways to address the issue. So, every institution is unique. So, the solution is at the institution level. Situation in one school, one school may not be similar to that of the other school. So every school should develop their own plan to continue the process of education. Here, consultation with the teachers, consultation with the parents, the confidence level of the parents is very important to call the students to the school. If the parents are not confident to send the school, even if you open the school, no child will come to attend the classes. So, you have to go with, the majority. You have to conduct a survey at your school level. What are the aspirations and what is the opinion? Then again, before taking any decision, you have to consult your local authorities, municipality, municipal corporation, local panchayat. The ground reality should be ascertained, the health department. So, according to the situation prevalent in your locality, a feasible decision should be taken in consultation with the school management and parents. Sorry. So that is very essential to plan your school's activities. So once that is done, before the children are come to the school, till now they have been undergoing the online classes. Before you call the students to the school, it is very important to assess their learning level. Now online classes have been provided to the children in many places. So as far as CBSE is concerned, as per our recent survey, almost 90%, more than 90% students are some way or the other connected with the teachers and schools. So areas where more number of government schools are there, like Chandigarh, Andaman Nicobar, then Sikkim, these kind of places where Delhi, where more number of government schools are there, where maximum poor children are attending classes, there the reach is somewhat 70 to 80%. But in rest of the places, all the CBSE schools have reached above 90%. So maximum students are in the catchment area, and by the grace of the Almighty, almost every school is able to continue the momentum of continuation of teaching and learning at their level. So it is a very, very, very welcome as well as very comfortable situation for the CBSE school, but still the effectiveness of online teaching learning happened in the school, or the online teaching and learning given by the school to the students needs to be assessed. Whether the children have achieved the desired level of learning through the online way of teaching, that needs to be ascertained. Then if there is any learning gap, remedial teaching learning should be provided to the students, and they should be brought at par with the rest of the students. So how to assess this learning gap? So for assessing the learning gap, you have to conduct different kinds of informal assessments. So assessments normally we use in the form of examination at the end of the session, a summative assessment, and formative assessment at in the midterm and all. So different types of assessment should be followed by every school, and understand what is the learning level of every child, and according to the learning level of the child, remedial actions, remedial measures should be adopted. That is very, very essential. 1 second, I'll take one second. So the importance of assessing the learning level, I have explained to you. Similarly, when you teach through online mode, it is not that easy to cover all the syllabus and topics. At the board exam classes, CBSE has already done rationalization. And while doing this rationalization, how this rationalization has been done. It was a big challenge. Uh, every topic, every concept is very, very important. But we are passing through a very difficult situation where no learning is happening, or learning with a great difficulty is happening. So most important aspect is to connect every child with this learning process and give them ample scope for understanding the concepts. So, for concentrating on various concepts, or to give conceptual understanding to the children, it is very important to reduce the curriculum load. So every child is not equally talented, or the learning level, the learning capability of the children are, different. They are all of them are having different level of learning abilities. So here the rationalization has been done to look into an average child, not the brightest one. The brightest kids, they have more potential to learn by their own. So while rationalizing the curriculum, no topic has been taken out from the syllabus. So this is only a mechanism adopted to overcome this pandemic crisis. So to reduce the load of every child for appearing in the examination was the idea behind the rationalization of the curriculum. So while selecting this topic, the experts from universities, practicing teachers, there is always a group of teachers associated with every subject. They sat together and analyzed all the syllabus and topics, and they identified topics that have already learned the children at the lower classes, or the concepts that are less important to connect various topics, or less impact on the higher studies. So a set of topics they have identified, and almost 30% syllabus has been reduced from class 9 to 12 only for this current academic session to mitigate the effect of COVID pandemic. So syllabus is remain intact, syllabus is remain the same, but the pressure on the child for appearing in the board examination as well as the year-end examination has been reduced by taking out 30% of the syllabus load. So this CBSE has announced first in the country, followed by many other state boards have followed. Many other state boards have also, followed this footstep. So in the lower classes, classes 1 to 8, this exercise has to be done by the schools themselves. So for you, the bottom line will be the learning outcome document of the NCERT. They have already come out with the learning outcome document. So every chapter, every topic is connected to learning outcome. Then, alternative academic calendar of NCERT has been released for certain subject. So here, concept-based learning on and focused approach on experience and learning, alternative ways of teaching and learning has been explained by NCERT. So this kind of teaching learning should be developed in the school level to continue the momentum of teaching learning. So when you consider reduction of topic at school level, always identify topics that are already learned by the child in the lower classes, and topics that has less impact on the higher studies, or topics that will be learned in detail in the next class, or less impact. What are the topics and subjects that has less impact, or what are the content or excess content is available? What are the content which can be taken out, or even after taking out, whether the concept can be clearly conveyed to the students? Those exercise should be undertaken by the schools. So this is not an easy task. It's a huge exercise. But in the COVID scenario, this is the best way to promote education. So if you teach the entire content, and if the children are not able to take anything, or if there is less takeaway for the children, the entire purpose is defeated. So whatever we teach, it should be focused on concept, and entire concept should be conveyed to the children, and content can be minimized. So this call should be taken at school level. So there should not be any syllabus reduction. Even 9 to 12 syllabus is intact, and whatever you are teaching, you can assess through internal assessment. But there is a reduction in the board exam. That is to reduce the pressure of the children due to the special circumstances. Similar exercise schools can do at their level for lower classes. So with the less impact, or minimum impact, or no impact due to closure of school, that should be our objective. And to achieve that, always see whether by teaching a particular concept or lesson, whether the child is able to achieve the learning outcome prescribed by the NCERT. So that kind of learning outcome should be developed. And to achieve that learning outcome, you can also develop various learning objectives after each chapter and each concept. So that is also a huge exercise. But very systematically, if the teachers are able to do that, then the teaching learning process will be very effective even in this COVID scenario. So for this purpose, there is huge capacity building is required. So here, your collaborative approach, the collaborative approach of Sahodaya School Complex as well as your hubs of learning will help a lot. There are schools with high competencies and caliber, with excellent teachers, teaching faculty. There are schools with less experienced faculties, less facilities. So if everyone come together and share the resources and pools and ideas, so you can strengthen every school in your locality, every school under your Sahodaya, and maximum mitigation of the effect of pandemic can be achieved. This will be a great service to the student community at this pandemic time. So when you reduce the topic, see that the topic which has less impact in the higher studies, or the topics which have already learned in the previous class, or the topic that are very easy to learn. No topic is less important, but very easy to learn. If children will learn with their self work, or if you can give workbook to the children and through attempting by doing works at home, they will be learning the concept. So different mechanism can be adopted and followed. But the key principle followed should be the achievement of learning level, not the teaching of the content. This is what is emphasized in the new education policy too. We must switch over from so many teachers workshops have been conducted and so many guidelines have been issued. Competency based learning, art integrated learning, sports integrated learning, experiential learning. These are all various forms of achieving competency based education. So in competency based education, the focus will be on the ability of the child to apply the knowledge gained in the classroom in the real life situation. That is the focus. If we teach everything in the classroom, and if the child forgets after writing the examination, so that is not adding value to his life. So that kind of a teaching and learning, which the Indian system has been following for years, should change, and the focus should be on building up of capacity of our students to apply the acquired knowledge in the real life situation. So that kind of a competency-based approach should be adopted by every school. And for switching over to that competency-based education, the strategies adopted by the schools to mitigate the problems of COVID will definitely help a lot. So this is the way to make small step to achieve that big goal. So always, promote diverse thinking, alternative ways of teaching and learning, and adopt and adapt different best practices available across the school system. And slowly get out from the clutches of rote memorization to competency-based experiential learning. So that should be the target. So to that effect, huge capacity building of our teachers are required. We must come out from the textbook-oriented teaching and learning to concept-based teaching and learning. It's not the content, but the concept. And, the topics, the content. That is important. So the assessment strategies that is adopted within the classroom, outside the classroom, or after the course, everything needs to be changed. So slowly, the teaching, learning, and assessment practices should change, and that should accommodate the competency-based education, and it should adopt that pattern. Then we can progress in this direction. So CBSE's effort in this direction started with the 2020 board examination. In the 2020 board examination, about 10% board examination questions were based on case study based questions. So case study based questions primarily aiming to test the ability of the child to understand an unfamiliar situation, and the ability of the child to connect that concept with a real life situation to solve a problem. So that kind of questions were introduced in 2020 examination, and slowly, by implementing the new education policy, CBSE's weightage for this competency-based questions will increase. So in 2021 examination, this weightage will be 20% in class 10 and 10% in class 12. Similarly, in 2022 examination, this will further enhance. The percentage weightage has not yet been decided, so it will enhance. At least minimum 10% enhancement will be there. So gradually and slowly, the entire assessment strategy should be changed into competency to align our teaching learning with competency based. So the real focus should be more on the practical ability and practical experience of the child rather than mugging up of theory and writing the examination based on the by hearting techniques. So in the Indian system, not everything is wrong. In our Indian system, the rigor and vigor of our schooling system is accepted all across the world. Our schools and students are very, very well disciplined. They have a rigor and vigor. They have high mathematical understanding. All those good things are there. So we are not, giving up those good qualities while adopting the changes required for this 21st century. We should continue with our best practices to strengthen our system. So that we can have best of both the worlds. So that kind of a change we are looking for, we are aiming for, and towards that direction, huge capacity building of teachers are required. If you recollect our challenges during the CCE time, you will understand the problems which we faced. So during CCE time, it was one of the best system. It should have been one of the best system, best contribution for the school education system. But because of lack of preparedness, lack of competency of our schooling system, particularly with the teachers and mindset of parents, we could not succeed with the CC. And secondly, the society's nature, the truthfulness, honesty, and the value system of the society will also reflected through the examination system. So when the entire power of assessing the child was given to our schools, judiciously very few schools have exercised those powers. Whereas by giving grades, various other subjective mechanisms were adopted by many schools. So as a whole, what happened? The quality of the system was deteriorated. Not every school is involved in that. Not every school cannot be blamed. But some schools were involved in such practices so that we had to withdraw the CC. Imagine a situation wherein you are admitting a child in the nursery class and the child is continuing with the school system for the next in the present scenario, it is next to 14 to 15 years. So who is the best judge for that child other than the child's teachers and school? Who knows a child better than the child's school? So in the board examination at the year end, 3 hours, assessment has its own limitation. That is why in the United States, there is no board examination. It's only school-based examination. See, the American school board only certify the certificate issued by the school. Whereas in our country, we takes time. We need extended time to reach up to that level, to build that, that kind of a honest assessment mechanism in the school. Whereas that is what is required, that is desirable. So through the modular examination, through the in semester-based examination, larger autonomy will come to the school. Again, check and balance will be exercised by the board, and through a collaborative approach, gradually more and more autonomy will be again given back to schools, so that in a holistic manner, 360-degree assessment of a child can be done at the school level. So assessment should be used as a tool to develop a child. That is the aim. So CBSE is also planning to bring, that kind of a diagnostic assessment, a diagnostic test for class 3, 5, 8 children. The new education policy as well as the Right to Education Act says there should be, benchmarked assessment at class 3, 5, and 8 level. So, learning level, assessing the learning level is one thing. At the same time, what is the attitude? What is the skill set? What are the abilities in a child? That needs to be diagnosed and nurtured. And we must use this kind of assessment for the development of the child. And these assessments should give proper feedback to the parents and teachers for making right interventions at the right time. So board, in the near future will come out with that kind of an assessment strategy. Once it is finalized, we are thinking of bringing that kind of a assessment strategy for the students of its affiliated schools. So assessment at class 10 level and class 12 level will not help the child to develop. You know, after the class 10, there are only 2 years left with the school for that child. And after 12th means, at the year, at the end of the course, and their schooling is over, so the child will be going out of the school system. So there is no, there is no time to make that capacity building or the remedial actions. So this class 358 examinations will help on the other hand to build the capacity, competency, talent, aptitude, skill set, abilities, social skills, everything in the child. So a scientifically designed examination is being planned by the board for the children of these three levels. So this will help the school to identify the potential learning uh, level of the child, as well as what are his potential area of growth in the future. So let us hope for the best. Maybe in the near future it will happen. So the point I was making is the assessment is a tool that should be used for the development of the child. So in the pandemic scenario also, encourage your teachers to continue to follow different forms of assessment, informal assessments, while continuing with the online teaching. So these kind of assessments will give immediate feedback to the teacher that what is the learning level of every child, so that even during the pandemic time, individual attention can be given to the child who requires special attention. So informal assessment should be continued. And when you make informal assessment, please see that COVID is putting a lot of pressure on the children. So it should not add much pressure on the child. It should be a joyful exercise. It should be a joyful activity. So in the pandemic, the biggest achievement, someone was sharing in a different platform. I was attending a webinar. There, someone has shared a thought. To remain alive is the biggest achievement and gift for you in this pandemic. So let us not forget that. So for to remain alive and to remain healthy and active, so you have to have a good healthy mind and healthy body. So you need to handhold every child, every teacher in that direction. So teachers are also having a lot of pressure and lot of tension and pressure. So it's very important to empower and encourage every teacher. So that is the role of the school leaders and principals and school managers. So through a collaborative effort, the process should continue. Maybe 2021, we don't know what will be the scenario in 21 also. It's situation. And the recent past, but board exam, compartment examinations have also been announced with all precautions. All these exams are very essential. And 21 also, as per the present calculation, we can have a board examination to assess the performance of. It is too early any comment on the examination, but that we will be able to conduct board examinations for class 10th and 12th students at the end of this academic sessions too. That is the present expectation. Maybe with the relaxation of children from class 9 to 12, in a more scattered way, children can be called to the schools and conduct examination, or to the examination centers and conduct examination. We have to work out a plan and strategy depending upon the situation waiting for us. As far as conducting practical examinations, project work is, of course, it's not that difficult for the schools. While continuing with your online classes, project work should be continued. And what is the purpose of project work? That we must understand. It is for giving experiential learning to the child. Giving an opportunity to the child to apply what is learned in the real life situation. That is coming through project. And project is a wonderful way of learning. It is a wonderful way to ignite the minds, to bring innovative thinking, to bring innovative practices, and the 21st century, which we are talking, that skills, the 21st century skills, collaboration, communication, critical thinking, problem solving. These competencies all can be exhibited through project work and assignments. As far as practical is concerned, till now there is no scope for calling the children to the school to conduct practicals. So that is why CBSE has recently issued a circular for using OLab and Amrita lab in place of the physical labs. So some sort of learning should take place, and believe me, these platforms developed by CDAC is so wonderful, and it is none. It's not less than any physical lab. They except they can physically smell and touch the articles. Rest every learning is provided through these CDAC labs. So please encourage all the schools, and all your schools are good schools should visit OLAB, register in the OLAB. It's free of cost. It's a Government of India platform, and make maximum use of this OLAB facility for providing practical knowledge to the children, particularly for practical subjects. So in other than science subjects, even English lab is available on OLAB platform. So whatever platforms are available, make good use of those resources. Beyond that, wherever project work can be given to the child, that can be given, and assessment in an informal way should be carried out throughout the time, so that children's learning is assessed and updated with the teachers and parents, so that remedial measures can be taken on the right time to avoid learning gaps. So if any learning gap happens, it's very difficult to compensate it. It can have a cumulative effect till the end of his career. So please see that no child is left with any learning gap, as far as possible. To the best of your ability, always make creative interventions to avoid learning gaps. So these are some of the thoughts I thought of sharing with you. Now I think we can continue, but at the same time, I would love to answer your queries better, so that more and more clarity will be there on the way through which you can move forward. I can also clarify the board's position on various points. Few questions Guleria ji has shared with me. I tried to cover those topics during my lecture, but if anything else or any point that needs more elaboration or more clarification, either Jaswinder ma'am or the Guleria ji, you can just highlight it. Then I will be happy to answer those questions. Or if any new questions came, that also we will try to address.
Yes, thank you so much, sir, for elaborating each and every initiation taken at your office level, at the level of CBSE. You have taken us on a virtual ride, of all the circulars which have been coming. I don't think that any of still there were many questions which we received from the participants who wanted to join this webinar. To put across certain queries, although you have almost covered most of the topics, sir, and we are extremely thankful to you for sharing your pearls of wisdom, for throwing light on various aspects.
I always feel that I am part of your Ludhiana Sahodaya. I have fond memories of your Sahodaya schools, particularly the schools from Punjab. Almost I have been in Chandigarh only for a year, but I have very close link with all your Sahodaya schools, different Sahodayas. All the schools, particularly Ludhiana, Jalandhar, Amritsar, Mohali, wherever Punjab, whatever names you have taken, I have visited almost every Sahodayas, and very good schools and very committed teachers and school leaders. So that is a big asset for the CBSE. And always you are there to take up any responsibility of CBSE.
Thank you so much, sir, for your appreciation. I'm extremely thankful to you on behalf of the whole teaching fraternity that right in the beginning of your address, you boosted our morale for, comparing us with the doctors and the policemen that, of course, during this pandemic, it is, the school teachers who always known as nation builders have really proved themselves to be helping the nation keep moving ahead on this very, very important aspect of human life, that is education of the school going children. Thank you so much for your applause. Thank you very much, sir.
I have not exaggerated it. You deserve it and you have done it. I have only echoed what you have done.
Boosted our morale. Thank you so much. Sir, carrying this discussion on reduction of toppings forward, I would like to steer this conversation towards the implications of this decision. Sir, please share with us, like, what do you think this reduction of topics, mainly in class 12, will it have any impact on the preparation of students for competitive exams or the entrance exams for various institutions of higher education? This question we have received from various school leaders. So kindly share your inputs on this.
Here, ma'am, try to understand the purpose of both the examination. Class 12 examination is an academic examination, and NEET, JEE, these are all, examinations, entrance examinations conducted to eliminate students. The purpose is different. There are 15 lakh students applying for medical admissions. Out of that, 60,000 seats are only available. So they have to eliminate. So, the fittest will remain on the top level. So the purpose of both the examinations are different. The class 12 examination, of course, our idea is to assess the knowledge level, whether the child has, certain level of knowledge as entrance examination is an examination conducted to eliminate. So all kinds of techniques, tools are used in the entrance examination to eliminate the rest. So the first and foremost advice you need to give to your students is, if you are an aspirant for entrance examination, study the syllabus of entrance examination thoroughly. Then accordingly, make up your preparations. This board examination, the purpose of reduction is to reduce the stress and anxiety as well as pressure on the child. But this should not cost a child to, crack the entrance examination. The purpose is different. So a person who wanted to get into IIT level or All Indian Institute of Medical Science or any medical college, he should, continue with his preparations required at that level. This is a qualifying exam. Accordingly, every child is not equal. Every child is not bright. Every child is not, not having equal learning facility. There are 30% children in the government schools who are not able to continue their online education. They are neither connected through digital, neither connected through mobile, neither connected through TV. That kind of, poor children are also there. So when, as a whole, when as a board, we take a decision, we have to look into the requirements of all class of children. So, the effect of rationalization of curriculum should not affect the potentiality of a child who is looking for admission to professional courses. So that child should continue with his effort with the syllabus prescribed for that examination. So understanding the purpose of both the examination as well as the syllabus of both the examination will help the child to harness his effort to reach up to that level. So this is very important. Guide your students accordingly.
Right, sir. Thank you so much. Um, so we all agree that teaching is incomplete without assessment. And you have already given your inputs that children should be assessed for their competencies. According to CBSE's circular dated circular number 34, which came in the month of May, that competency-based education, right? And we have to, map the learning outcomes. The teachers are to prepare the learning outcomes and teach accordingly to build up the competencies of the children. But even then, the formal assessments are to be conducted. And there have been rumors going on, and this WhatsApp University is the main source of that. Many of the parents also keep discussing that maybe this year there are not going to be any board examination. So my next query, sir, on behalf of all the participants is that what will be the structure of assessments for board classes this session? And also, will there be any change in the structure of assessments in both the theory and the practical exams for class 12 and class 10? And also, please clarify this rumors also need to be settled that yes, there will be board examination or there will not be any board examination. If yes, then will the exams be conducted online or offline? Because these are all the terms people are talking about, and the queries keep coming to the online classes also. Children put these questions to the teachers. Parents even question that what is the use of this online teaching if ultimately there is not going to be any board examination. So please, sir, throw some light on this.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. It's a very valid question. I have hinted while talking to you that, as of now, there will be board examination at the end of this academic session. Indeed, I mentioned it. At present, as per the present plan, there will be a board examination. Date and all, it depends upon, the permissions given by the central government and the state government. But as of now, the present plan is to have a board examination in 2021, March, April, whenever the time is conducive and, convenient. Board will conduct both class 10 and class 12 examination. And this examination will be a pen and paper examination. We are going to have our compartment examination in this month itself. That is also a pen and paper examination. Because we don't have equal facilities in every school. So till the time we prepare ourselves, we cannot afford to switch over to an online examination. So depending upon the facilities available in your own schools, you can conduct your school level examinations online. There is no problem. You can continue. Suppose all your children are on digital platform, they can be assessed online. Please continue. You have that freedom up to class 8, including class 9 as well as class 11. But class 10 and 12, board will be conducting. As of now, in the present situation only I am talking. Now, if the situation changes, I can't say anything beyond my control. In the present, as of now, there is no plan of neither abolishing examination or for an online examination in 10 and 12 in 2020. We will have a normal examination, but it will be a more scattered examination, very limited children in the class. Like in the compartment examination, there are only 12 children are permitted in the examination hall. So with the strict social distancing, by adhering the strict safety and health norms, we will be conducting this compartment exam. Similarly, 2021 board examination will also be conducted with pen and paper mode in an equal manner.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir, for clearing a big doubt, a big question in our minds. Continuing with this, I would just like to know that will there be any directives from your end regarding the promotion policy in this session, or will it continue be the same?
At present, it is 33% is the mark is the commonly accepted pass criteria. In class 10 and class 12, that is the minimum pass mark required in a subject. So that will continue. So if that is the case, class 9 and class 11, you should follow the same pattern of board exam classes. Rest of the classes also, that is more than enough. You can have your own criteria, but 33% minimum pass criteria will be an equal standard strategy for every class in this.
Yes, sir. Sir, for board examination, when we finalize our list of candidates, then we are very careful about one more very basic requirement for these children who are to write board examination. That is the attendance of the children, 75% attendance. As you said in your address today, that 90% of the students are connected with school education through online mode all over the country. And recently this survey has been conducted by the CBSE. Sir, we are of course teaching online. I can vouch for all the schools, in our Sahodaya and in the surrounding areas, online teaching is going on. But as far as the attendance of the students is concerned, it's really questionable. Times children are not serious. They are not in attending the classes. A lot of effort is being put in by the class in charges, by the supervisors, by the principals. And we keep on talking, and requesting parents that they must, because today the child is in the custody of the parents. They are at home. And the school is reaching at their doorsteps. So somewhere, this condition of 75% attendance, will it still be valid, or will there be some kind of relaxation? Should it be there or not?
This is schooling from home. So, it's very difficult to impose 75% school attendance. How will you impose that, So, this year, I think, board is yet to decide on that. But still, what I feel is there should not be any bar for attendance. This COVID situation, you cannot put any bar because formal schooling is not happening. So,
but I think
but for disciplinary purpose, you should be strict from your side. You should give that. Children are children. That we must understand. And as teachers, you have every concern for their discipline, progress, learning. Your concern is very valid. I appreciate. But there is a very practical difficulty. How are you going to impose? If something you cannot strictly impose, then there is no point in putting it forward. This year, attendance is going to be a very big issue. You may have to relax. So just wait for the guidelines of the board. Board will issue guidelines. This I have shared with you from my personal experience and it's my personal opinion. But very difficult to impose limitation of attendance this year, because now formal schooling is happening, and whatever is happening, it is schooling from home. So how will you impose school attendance? And online classes are also, even if suppose say that, children are joining into online class, and then, just switch off the video and, mute the mic and sit back. So how are you going to check?
yes,
So many challenges are there. Yeah. So that is why I said, even though while teaching, it's very important to assess every child. So that informal assessment teachers should give focus. So whether children are, asking, intermittently questions to some of the children, you can call somebody's name and ask the child to unmute and give answer. These are all some of the techniques to get the attention of the students. Many teachers are doing it. I am aware. I have seen that. So here, it's a special situation, special circumstances. There is no standards, pattern for it. So you have to adjust. Only thing is, you should harp on attendance of the child, but very difficult to implement the percentage this year.
Right, sir. Right. Thank you so much, sir. And I hope, teachers, the principals will take care. We, of course, cannot, make it mandatory, but then motivation is always required. And there has to be a reason that the child doesn't want to miss a class.
And also, ma'am, it is, parental participation is a must. See, without the support of the parents, you cannot achieve learning. because
Yes.
at home, parental participation is much. So, workshop webinars for the parents to make them aware uh, of their roles. Recently, we have conducted, 2, 3 webinars. So, last 4th, 5th, and 6th, we have organized webinars for the entire parental community of Chandigarh. So, from CBSE, through the Center of Excellence, we have organized it. So, from every school, every class, the frequency of parent-teacher meeting should be increased. Then, there should be a communication channel open for teachers and parents. Then only that feedback will come. And
Yes.
instead of, you have to follow, adopt a psychological approach, a caring approach. Then only this situation can be, tackled. It's a
Yes.
special situation. This is in an extraordinary situation, you need to adopt extraordinary measures. So
Right.
psychologically, as well as, very, very tactfully, every teacher and every school should handle this situation.
Yes, sir. Sir, as you've already mentioned, and we know that yesterday only the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India, has released the SOPs for partial reopening of the schools, especially for the children of classes 9 to 12, and that also on voluntary basis. With their parents' consent, they can come to schools for clarifying their doubts. Sir, you are requested to share your inputs further regarding the preparedness of the schools in the light of these SOPs. Although, since when this pandemic has happened, right from the month of March, CBSE has conducted a lot of webinars for teachers, then, on different platforms, different universities, even in collaboration with the Canadian universities. A lot of inputs we have gained, but still we would love to learn from you, sir, that what exactly, in the point wise, if you would like to suggest the schools need to do to be prepared, because it's just a matter of 10, 12 days now, that if children want to come, and as you have already said, that with the state government's permission, with the district administration's permission, and going by the local scene, if there are no containment zones in the vicinity of the schools, what more needs to be done at the level of school managements, heads of the schools, and the staff? Yes, sir.
First of all, every school should undertake a survey whether parents are willing to send their children.
Yes.
Suppose if majority of the parents are not willing to send their children to the school, there is no point in calling, one section of students. They can be given special advice, that is different. But to tackle both the groups, the children who are continuing with online classes and continuing with, and children who are willing to attend the school, and simultaneously the teachers may not be able to handle both the groups. So conduct a survey among the parents. Are you willing? Are you confident? Because in the pandemic scenario, in world over, whatever report we have received,
Yes.
in even CBSE affiliated schools in the Gulf, though the schools are open, only 4% children are sending their, 4% parents are sending their children to the school. The remaining children are attending online classes. They are continue to attend online classes. So you can expect a similar situation in India. If your school is effectively conducting online classes, if the children are getting that online learning, they may not come back to schools under the threat of COVID. Because in the school, another factor is also there. With the small children, including 9 to 12 children, it's very difficult to maintain that social distancing.
Yes,
When
sir.
they get into the company of their friends, they forget everything, and it's a very risky situation.
Yes, sir.
So that
Going by the,
assessment you need to make.
yes, sir.
Once you make that assessment, if you decide, hypothetically, let us assume that you have decided to open the school by fulfilling all the requirements of the local government and state government, uh, you know, uh, decided parameters. Then you have to prepare a checklist for all category. Checklist for parents, checklist for teachers, checklist for school staff, checklist for the teacher, the support staff. For every person associated with this school should be covered through that checklist, and roles and responsibilities, do's and don'ts of every person should be clearly defined. And this should cover the students also. How should they behave? How should they enter? Clean toilets, drinking water, sanitation, sanitizers, every point. There are so many guidelines issued. Minister of Health has issued a guideline. WHO has issued guidelines. So many Sahodiyas have issued guidelines. Precautions to be taken after the opening of schools. Those enough resources are available. So you have to go through all those documents and develop your own SOP, very effective SOP, because you need to develop SOP at your school level, because every school is different. Every school's situation is different. So try to pen down every possibility and try to pen down the role of every individual connected to the school. What are the do's and don'ts? How to behave? So everything should be penned down, and planning is very essential. And also, every school should have a tie-up with a local hospital. In case of any emergency, what should be the medical care easily you can provide. So these things should be very, very important. And with a proper planning, many things can be controlled. But at the same time, sending their children to school is a call of the parent, and you should not insist the most.
Yes. Right.
Suppose somebody is, and when the children started coming to school, there are so many other challenges you will face. Suppose somebody is sick in the family, again, the infections that can cause infection for others. If somebody has cold, that can also, lead to other sort of infections. So it's very difficult. So give it a thought, even after opening it. What are the prevailing circumstances in the locality? What are the category of students attending classes in your school? Study a bit, then develop a proper planning and structure your SOPs. Then if you are a school of 3,000 students or 4,000 students, how will you accommodate the entire load in the school at one go? That is also a problem. Because now class 8, no opening is announced. 9 to 12 only announcement has come. So things are much more easier, but still you need to plan a lot. So you can think about, suppose if at all, if the children are coming, you can think about one day class 9 and 10 can come, the other day 11 and 12, if at all it is essential. But conduct a survey among the parents and collect their opinion first before you proceed further.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're very right, sir. It's, of course, parents' take whether they want to send their children to the school or not. You're very right, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, after CBSE, took that survey from the schools regarding preparedness of the children for online continuous teaching learning plan, many schools have started conducting the survey with the parents. Of course, to check about, the availability of resources with the children and with the parents. And also, we were adding this question in between that whenever the schools are allowed to reopen, would you like to send your wards or not? And if you ask me, sir, till now, my school response is only 14%.
Yeah, that is all. And see, another thing is also there. The online teaching is also improving. Very fast improving. It is becoming very effective now.
Yes,
So
sir.
it cannot replace it cannot replace a real classroom, but lot of improvement has taken place. Maybe the gap between the real classroom and online classroom is maybe 30 to 35%. In fact, many children are enjoying. They love to attend online classes rather than going to the real school.
Yes.
And particularly girls are, they wanted to stay back at home. Many boys, they are missing their company, their friends. They wanted to get back to their school. But girls particularly, they wanted to avoid traveling. They wanted to stay back at home. So there is a section of students, they love to continue online classes, and it is improving. So till the time, the things are settled down properly, uh, I think it is a wise decision to continue with online classes. But as you say, but also check whether every child is equally comfortable. And if there is any problem with any child, you can also offer counseling, some technical support. Similarly with the teachers, there are many technical glitches many teachers are facing. And at the same time, from the school side, somebody who is able to handle the technology should come to their help and rescue. That will reduce their mental stress. Suppose a teacher is taking class, suddenly some technical glitch happened with their system. Teacher will also get tensed. You know, uh, children are waiting this and that. That time, if the teacher can also call up somebody for help, and somebody who is capable of solving the technical issue is there to support her, then that will be a great relief for the teacher. So that kind of a support mechanism should be in place. That if all of you should develop that kind of a mechanism, it will create a healthy atmosphere among teachers too. So they will also feel that, we are also getting support. There is somebody to take care of us. So that kind of a feeling. So that message, it has multiple implications. Similarly with the students, if any child is not having any electronic device like computer or tab or something, there are you can organize from the schools level and support those children from the underprivileged background. So if you send out a message that we are here to take care of your requirement, we are here to support you, then children and teachers, they both start enjoying the online classes. You can also conduct so many online activities in between, enrichment activities, so that the dullness will be little bit sidelined. So there are lot of scope is there. Virtual platform, the scope is unlimited. So make use of all those good potentials.
Sir, with your permission, if your time allows, may I put you one more question, sir?
Yes.
Lady? This will be the last question, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. We all know that this National Education Policy 2020 is the most awaited and pioneering initiative to bring transformative changes in the educational system of our country. Sir, we all highly applaud the initiatives taken by MHRD and the CBSE to involve the stakeholders from the CBSE schools to go through the policy document and send the suggestions in areas and themes. Thank you so much, sir, for keeping us involved in this decision-making activity. But somewhere there are speculations in the minds of the people associated with private unaided educational institutions. So please share with us that what will be the future of private schools after the implementation of NEP? Will there be some impact on the private educational institutions, or it is just a little fear in the minds of all of us?
There is, frankly speaking, there is no need to fear. There is no need to afraid of anything. This policy is a very good document, and it encourages quality in the schools. Equity, excellence, and quality. These are the three focus areas. So in India, where is the quality? Maximum quality is with the private institutions. So, there is no need to fear. And this policy is one of the best which we can get in the 21st century. And the success of the policy depends upon our ability to implement the recommendations at the ground level. So many things CBSE schools are already implementing. Many best practices are already implementing in our affiliated schools. And it encourages, participation of all sections of the society in this transformation of education. So, you just remove the fear factor. it will not affect the private schools. Of course, the policy is focusing on improving the quality of the government schools, and the approaches adopted in the schools, the improvement of quality of teachers, empowerment of teachers, the focus on the improvement in the teacher education, assessment pattern, the holistic report card. There are so many recommendations which will practically enhance the quality in the course of time. So the policy also talk about, separation of, the removal of hard separation like academic, vocational, music, art, skill subjects, all sort of separation should be taken away. Then more focus will be given on, the logical thinking and development of 21st century skills. So all those things are very, very important. So more focus on the quality enhancement is given, and lot of focus on India's heritage and culture. So once heritage and culture naturally invoke pride, that will that that is the purpose, is to create pride in the minds of children about their country, about their society, about their community, about their language. That is one thing. At the same time, it also encourages to accept the diversity of India, the languages of India. It's a very good policy, and it will help us to move away from rote learning to competency-based education. And it is an all-inclusive policy. It has space for everything and everybody. And if everything goes on time, by 2030, it will remove the learning poverty from India. Learning poverty. Even if the child is attending classes, if the child is not able to learn at the right pace, there is a poverty, learning poverty. So by implementing this policy, if everything goes well, in the right spirit, if it is implemented, it will remove the learning poverty and the learning gap. And that is the, way we need to transform our country as a developed nation. So when every child, every person understands the value, it's not the money that transforms the society. It is the mindset that transforms. So if the policy helps a society to create a good mindset, the high thinking and simple living. If we are able to follow that kind of a slogan, and if we are able to really adopt and adapt that in the life, so it will really change the scenario. There is nothing to worry. Good policy. Only thing is, let us all join together to implement it on the grassroots level. See that the every recommendation of the policy is implemented. So this is talking about development of an individual. So still, equity and excellence is the motto of CBSE too. We are all working for the transformation of the individual, development of the individual. By giving holistic development of the individual is the objective of the education, transformation of the individual. The right thinking, the right skill set, the right aptitude, and ability to apply those skills in the real life. That kind of a complete development is required in the human being. So for developing a child, those competencies are required in the teachers. Those value system should be there in the school and society. Then only we will be able to handle the child. So a 360-degree analysis is planned, and at the same time, we all should unlearn and relearn and upskill ourselves to come up to the expectations of the new policy.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your valuable thoughts on NEP also. Of course, this brings us towards the end of today's webinar. So I would like to request Mr. Guleria, because till now I have been looking for Madam Dr. Paramjit Kaur. Probably she's not there, sir. Please check it up so that ma'am could share.
Ma'am, I was calling her, she's not picking. Perhaps she is stuck somewhere.
Okay. So finally, sir, then you could only propose the vote of thanks to sir and.
Okay, ma'am.
From my side, sir, thank you so much for answering all the queries, all the questions which I